So I just made a video about this type of thing, with bad business practice, I guess, about Cyberpunk or Studio CD Project Red looking for particular applicants when it comes to testing their games in the future thing that they're doing. But here, streamers critical of BioWare's Dragon Age to Veilguard not given review codes. Wouldn't you want the people who are bashing it the most to be the ones who are trying it? You're like, no, see, test it for yourself. See, it's a great game. You know, it would just make more sense for all the naysayers. Like, hey, you're judging the game harshly. Here, try it for yourself. YouTuber Wolfheart FPS reports that at least three streamers and YouTubers that were critical of Dragon Age Veilguard during an initial playtest have not been given review codes for the full game. Well, wow. Huh. Oh, we'll just read it on here. We'll just just that. Uh, okay. Three creators, myself included, were a bit more, a bit more critical than others with our hands-on time with the Dragon Age of Veilguard. Not a single one of us will be getting a review code with time to actually give options before release, or opinions before release. Just thought I would throw that out there. Huh. Please keep in mind, folks, that this does not mean that my more critical opinion is better or more truthful than those who have been more positive. I'm just simply pointing out how marketing works. This also doesn't mean the game will be bad. It's just something to consider. It doesn't matter. It just makes them look bad. Optics. Optics. You don't you're critical of your game, so you're not gonna get the full thing, full access for right now because you're a big doo doo head and you have doo doo in your soul. I mean, it just looks bad for them, Especially it's like I just said, we just looked at Project Red, CD Red or whatever, uh, Get Wrecked or Get Red or whatever. How it's like, oh well, 16 and live in this area or around this area and willing, but then it's like, oh well, your profile has to align with what we believe. You know, it's just not a good look. You know. He also pushed back in response to. All right, I had the window open. I opened the window before, and I was like, oh well, it's not that cold out. It's not that cold out, but somehow my room got freaking cold, and it's made me tired. So I've got the space, the you can't see it, but the space heater on behind me real fast, just for a few minutes to heat things up. It just wasn't even that cold outside, and yet here I am. It's like, God, it's not even that cold. And there are days it's like 80 degrees out there, and it's like it feels like it's 50 something in here. Like no air going, just the fan, and it's so it just got me tired. Um, he also pushed back in response to YouTuber Kayla Elizabeth, noting that individuals who gave positive reviews did not get review copies as well. She wrote, there was also people who were very positive and were also at the event and did not get review copies also. I definitely think you guys should have been given codes, but I want to point out that wasn't only people being more critical who were given codes. Again, it doesn't matter. You know, it's just bad business. It's just good business. Wolfhart responded, I understand that, and I did my research on this before posting. The point is, so more so that everyone I know who is critical did not get a code. With two of us being heavily involved in the party-based RPG scene, it's just not a yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's just not a good look. It doesn't look good. It's not, you know. And now it's not good. It is, however, a good look on the investor side of the equation, though. In his video titled "Mixed Impressions after playing Dragon Age: The Veilguard early," he concluded, "Overall, initial impressions wise, the game is pulling me in so many different directions, and it leaves me very conflicted. But as a fan of the franchise as a whole, and as someone who's already gone through the mourning period that the DA franchise would head me towards, the CRPG direction, or more towards the deep, complex RPG direction, I guess I could say I do find myself still excited to jump back into it on. It's just like, oh well, we haven't had it for a while, so I don't care if it's bad. I'm just glad to be playing it, and that's not really a good way to be looking at it. Just because, it's like if there wasn't a Zelda game for another, 10 years or 20 years or something, and then the next Zelda game we get was just crap. It's like, oh, but it's a really bad game, but I'm just really happy to have a Zelda game. That's no way to. That's not a way to look at it. You're saying you're conflicted and it's this and it's that, but it's like, oh well, and at least I'm able to play it. That's not a way to look at it. You know, Again, imagine Mario or one of your favorite games that's a series or something. Like they're a game that comes out tomorrow, right? And just say from that day tomorrow, there's not another game that comes out for 20 years. Just a little bit of time. And then when the game finally or the next title in the franchise comes out, it's crap. But then you're like, oh, at least we're getting something. Yeah, the gameplay was kind of bad, and I really didn't know what the game wanted me to do. Because it's like here, there. But hey, at least there was something. At least it was a franchise that I liked, and I couldn't wait to dive back in. Eh, come on, come on, no. With that said, I just can't confidently say to you all you though, as my audience, that yeah, this is definite. This is a definite buy. My guess is that this game will unfortunately continue to be quite divisive, but I could be wrong. Uh, for myself, the potential story and the world building is a very powerful enough force to the DA franchise that I'll be playing no matter what. Yeah, it's like one of those. Even if it wasn't, I just feel like there are some people who are just gonna play it regardless. They're just gonna play it regardless because it's like, oh well, we have a game, and at least it's better than not having a game from the franchise that I love. Um, no matter what, and there are certainly some cool things that I talked about in the video, but I don't really see any world where this could be like my game of the year or anything like that. A few of the negatives that I mentioned earlier in the video, they just feel a bit too impactful for what I personally value in games, specifically RPGs. See, just that last review, it's like, uh, oh, but I'm gonna continue like this whole. Yeah, it's a definite buy. It's like, yeah, it's a definite buy for people who like this series. It's like, oh, well, you best buy it because if you don't, you may not be getting Dragon Age for a while. But at the same time, it's basically saying it's like, oh well, it's not really what I wanted in a game, and I didn't really enjoy it that much, and it's definitely not Game of the Year material. But at least I'm just glad I have a Dragon Age game. And I think companies know that they can kind of get away with this. This kind of they can put out anything and it's just not going to matter because people are going to buy it regardless. You know, so I mean, just hearing what he was saying, it doesn't sound reassuring. It's bad optics on their side. Like, oh well, you didn't say things that we liked, so you're not gonna get the code. So sorry. Um, Between that and the how he described it, I mean, a game doesn't have to be game of the year type quality, but the fact that he doesn't consider it really even, not even considering it. I mean, because every good game that's come out this year or last year, past several years, like, yep, game of the year, game of the year. I remember Tears of the Kingdom. They were like game of the year, definitely game of the year. It took everything about Breath of the Wild and kept it upon, and improving on it. The story, even though it was all over the place, the story was still great. The cutscenes were great. The fights were great. Um, it tugged at your heartstrings a lot. Those flashback cutscenes with Rauru and Sonya and um so everyone was like game of the year. This is going to be game of the year. Um but that's what you think when you have a good game. If you're playing a game, it's like, it's kind of lackluster, it's not exactly what I want, it's definitely not game of the year material. That's not very reassuring. And you shouldn't settle for, oh well, I'm just glad I have it, because then companies are going to continue to think that it's okay to just keep producing subpar product, because it's like they're going to buy it regardless. So I'm not surprised that they're doing stuff like that. It's just like what I was talking about already before today, about, oh well, we don't want to have you play test for us unless your values align with ours. So they're gonna sit there looking at profiles that agree with their own values, you know. And that's not how you do it. You need to be unbiased when it comes to this stuff. I mean, you're a gaming company. You're in there to make money, not be biased and you know provide bad optics by doing crap like this, or like, oh well, just reviews with that align with ours, and just no, unbiased. You get people that you can, because sometimes you're not going to get as many people as you want sometimes, or that you think to participate in this stuff. So take what you can get. But what do I know? Anyway, that's gonna do for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.